You know, when a guy leaves a relationship, it's really hard for most women to make sense of what's going on. Even worse is when you don't know why he left. If you've ever been confused by a guy leaving you, I'm going to show you what's actually going on with him right here and what to do about it. Hey, it's Cavallo from datingfire.com and datingadviceguru.com. Welcome back to the dating and relationship secrets you need to know. Someone once said, experience is the toughest teacher because she gives the test first and then the lesson. That sounds like truth, doesn't it? When a guy leaves you, the first thing you got to know is whether or not that's what you actually want when I'm talking about a lesson. I mean, maybe it was about time this guy finally left. You might have been debating and wondering what you should do about him. Or are you about to break up with him and then bada boom, he saves you the trouble? We know it isn't that simple, right? But you are going to be plagued with second thoughts and fears of being alone for a while after the relationship ends. Ride the storm out and continue to let him go if that's the case. Don't let fear put you back into a relationship you don't want just because you don't want to be alone. But what if you do? What if you did want this relationship? Well, maybe he's ghosting you. Maybe he hasn't called you in a few days. But when a guy actually leaves you, it can be a real big freak out. It can be devastating. It might even create some emotional trauma. If you've been dumped, there are a few things you should know. Number one, the first thing that will happen is denial. This is where you still believe that the relationship is not over. Don't resist it, okay? Don't resist the end of the relationship. You got to surrender to the truth that this relationship may very well be done. In fact, even if there is a chance for this relationship to come back, you've got to treat it as if it's over for good. When you're in pain, the first thing you do is you go into denial. You hope he's going to see the light and come back to you, right? But most of the time, they don't. And even if he does come back, do you really want to be in a relationship that is a roller coaster ride of fear? I didn't think so. Number two, you're going to go crazy trying to figure out why. Why? Trying to figure out his motivations for leaving you, that's a dangerous game. That's a dangerous place to go. It's totally natural to wonder, but the truth is that he probably doesn't even know himself why he left. And even if he does, he probably can't tell you the truth. He'll probably come up with all kinds of reasons, including it being all him, it's me, it's not you. You know, don't go there. You're just going to drive yourself nuts. And number three, don't look for excuses to reconnect with him. It's dangerous to try and intrude in his space. You got to give him time. If there's a chance that he will rethink things and see the light, you pushing him is not going to help that. In fact, don't let him do that to you, okay? Talking to him right now would probably actually be really dangerous. Not until you have a plan. Okay, so now let's get to what you should be doing. Do this, number one, make sure your support is there when he's gone. The best thing you can do immediately is to let your girlfriends know what's going down. Don't let them find out when there's this nasty exchange on Facebook or something like that. Tell them now so that they know that you might need some support. If you find yourself reluctant to seek that support, that's the next thing you got to look at. Don't try to be strong if you know that this is actually going to be difficult. Lean on your friends delicately, but definitely keep them as a resource for you. I mean, you do that for them, wouldn't you? Hey, maybe you're in this kind of situation right now. Can you win him back? You're wondering, is he cold? Is this guy distant? Is he sending mixed signals? Maybe he's fallen out of love with you. Find out if you can win him back with my short quiz. Go here. Go to datingfire.com/win him back. That's datingfire.com/win him back. Go take the quiz right now. All right, do this. Number two is to let yourself get really sad, but don't let that sadness blind you or take you over completely. You see, you got to let those emotions out and start this process of healing. If maybe he isn't willing to try again, you've got to be willing to move forward. Don't let yourself get down on yourself either. There's a temptation to start turning on this critical voice inside your head telling you everything you did wrong, if only you hadn't done that. You know, the one that sounds like your mom. Yeah. Or somebody else from your past that got installed in your brain to make you feel bad about yourself. Don't let that voice win. Don't blame yourself or him for whatever reason he gave for breaking up or leaving. Even if it is his fault, you will still have some of that stinking thinking going on inside your head that maybe you could have done something, maybe you could have fixed it, or somehow you're to blame. In the end, it's always because you simply weren't meant to be together. Simple, and it's where you need to leave it. Do this. Number three is to focus on only the positive. And by positive, I mean the positive parts of the situation. Right off the bat, number one, big positive is you're free. I mean, really, think about that. All those problems you were having, the issues you had in the relationship, the nights you cried, and all that crazy heartache. Look, don't tell me you didn't. We know you did. But now, all the crazy stuff is over. You're free to do whatever you want. Go wherever you want. Hang out wherever you want. And you are now free to meet the guy who is right for you. You know, the guy who will love you back the way you want. The guy who won't do all that stuff you're putting up with this guy. Stay focused on this stuff, because you will have ups and downs, and you want to ride the ups. Do this. Number 4, stay off of social media. Yeah, it's going to be tempting to lean on social media as a way to heal and to keep yourself happy, but what it usually ends up doing is it hurts you even more. Stay off Facebook, stay off of Instagram, all that stuff. Make sure you're not following him or somehow connected to him in a way that will constantly remind you of him. Okay? Do this. Number 5, remember, he won't come back, but sometimes guys do. There's no guarantee here. You have to treat it as if he will never be back. Only by moving on will you increase the chances that he will really come back, if that's what you actually want. If he does come back, and if you do want to revisit the relationship, make sure you have journaled and listed all the things that need to change. Guys might leave a relationship that is perfectly good for lots of different reasons, and he will come back to a relationship for lots of reasons. Like he knows he made a mistake and he feels bad about his behavior. He realizes that breaking up wasn't the right choice. He didn't find what he thought he wanted in another person. He still loves you, and he genuinely wants to give it another try. He actually changed maybe, and he went and worked on himself. I gotta tell you right now, that one's kind of rare, but you know, it could happen. Or maybe he actually didn't mean to break up, but he didn't know how else to handle his complicated emotional situation. There's lots of reasons he might come back. You may have a feeling he will come back, and if you two did have a good relationship and it seems like he left you on a whim, there's a good chance he may come back and want to make it up to you. My last tip is really this: don't wait around. The women that men adore, those are the women that don't sit around waiting on guys. She's a genuine challenge. She knows she's got options, and she isn't afraid to move on or even to be alone. Now, this comes through in her attitude. She senses that she is the prize, and he will have to work to win her and keep her. And most often, he would never break up with this kind of woman. So now it's time for you to become that woman, the woman that every man desires, so that the special man that you adore with will stay with you forever. Now, if you want to know how to do this, it's actually pretty easy. Start by watching this video. Go to datingfire.com/obsession. datingfire.com/obsession. This is where you're going to learn how to flip a man's obsession switch. And when you know how to trigger his desire like this, you don't ever have to worry about a guy leaving you, because he'll always be the one chasing you. Go find out right now. datingfire.com/obsession. All right, now before you run away to that video, if you're new here or even if you're not, make sure you do the big 3 before you run away. Number 1 is like and subscribe to these videos so you can get them every week. Number 2 is to turn on notifications. Click that little bell icon or whatever button it is that will get you notified when I release more incredible videos coming soon. And if you're already subscribed, please do share these videos with somebody that you know. It's really the best way to make sure that all women know what Carlos is teaching. And number 3, comment below. Do you agree with these tips? Is there some other video you'd like? Maybe a part 2? Maybe you have a question? Go ahead and comment below. I try and read them as often as I can and respond. Hey, don't forget to wait for a few more seconds. I'm going to put a recommended video right up here on the screen for you to click. This is Carlos Cavallo. As always, live and love with passion.